Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another day trading recap. So in the Discord, there was one thing I said before the market opened, and I said today was going to be a chaotic market open. And there's a good reason I said that. It's because pre-market, it was already crazy. We had tickers, many tickers up over 40, 50, 60, over 100%. And that's what I like to trade, those big aggressive tickers moving fast. Well, actually, not big aggressive tickers, really small caps moving quickly. And that's what we're getting. The problem is we got a lot of them, way more than usual. And they're just, the volatility is insane. And a lot of these tickers are multi-day runners. We've been seeing them for weeks now. A lot of oil and gas companies that started inching up with the inflation news, and then ever since the Russian invasion to Ukraine, they've just absolutely exploded. And let's go to the charts because that's always the best way to talk about these things. And let me just also move this over because the last time I was just chilling right outside the screen. Okay, so what we're looking at is ENSV right now. I did not trade this one. And actually, a bit of a spoiler alert here. I didn't trade anything at the market open, which is weird. Historically, it's not my best time to be day trading, and I think that's probably a big reason why I didn't touch anything at the market open. We had some phenomenal moves, but I actually did pretty good pre-market, so I kind of was just like, let's pop the popcorn and just, watch the market. I did 80% front side right here. Look at this, 1, 2. Actually, let's just freaking map it out really quickly. This is 12 minutes, 85% in 12 minutes. Insane. Some of these 1-minute candles are really nice, 20%. Whew. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, got a little bit more aggressive again, but there's a good chance I would have just lost money at the market open, so I don't really regret it. But let's break things down, see it, make sense of all this madness, and go ticker by ticker. I actually only traded 3 stocks, and really I only traded 1 stock. I felt like today, MARPS. This is the ticker from like 7:20 to like 7:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was able to make the majority of our money, and then I pretty much walked away. Afterwards, I saw 9 moving, and then I was like, okay, it's on the front side, let me trade it. And then I stopped trading it. And then USWS, actually, you know what, I think I did trade this one. Was it after the market open? I don't know, we'll review it in a second. But this was the last ticker I kind of just dabbled in really quickly with very small size, and I just kind of closed for a scratch. Now, the reason I'm kind of happy today in terms of how I did overall. You might say, Alex, you're only up $777 today. It's not really a big green day or anything. That's true. That's definitely true. But I'm still using smaller size. I'm still doing about $3,000 on average per position size. So really, really small size. And any day I'm up 5% is a good day. That's a good green day. Any day I'm up 10%. That's like based on my average position size. That's like a really good day, and today I'm up pretty much 20% based on my average position size. So in terms of how I traded today, it was actually pretty good. I believe it or not, I still had no home run trades. I had no whoa, I got that 10, 20% spike to the upside. I had none of that, just a lot of base hits that added up. So I guess I'm gonna actually go and talk about these tickers chronologically on how I traded them. And then we'll maybe look at some of these high flyers as well, because there's so many tickers that are moving right now. It's quite interesting. Let's also check out these indexes really fast here. I'll just go to the daily chart just to get a good, actually we're already on the daily chart. So this is Bitcoin. It's been really stuck in this range lately, right below 40,000. Silver, we don't really have to talk about. It's finally off the lows here at 22. But, nickel is probably a big one to talk about because that had 80% move yesterday. That was absolutely insane. Brent crude oil futures BZ/BZ. I mean, look at these moves we're seeing across the board with these commodities. They're just absolutely insane. The Russell here on these small caps, this is really not so interesting. And this is kind of what we've been stuck in. Lately, the small caps have not been doing so well. So my trading this whole entire year so far has been very slow. It's been a very frustrating year for me. And obviously, my long-term investments, if that's stocks or crypto, are also down. So it's just it feels like a total lag of a year. It feels like this year hasn't even really started yet when it comes to trading. But hopefully we get some more activity. Or not necessarily more activity. Hopefully this activity continues to go the way it's going in terms of, being able to day trade again, getting these nice tickers. because it's beautiful. Now, if there was a little bit more select activity, so we got, one clean lead gapper, that would be the nicest. Right now, we're getting so many things moving at once, and it makes it very difficult to trade. And I think that's another reason I said, at the market open, I'm just going to watch, because it's just so easy to make a mistake and give back all your profits. All right, let's dive into these funny, crazy tickers. Starting with MARPS, because this is really the main ticker I was watching today. Not initially, but it popped up quick, and once it was on its front side, I was like, all right, this is beautiful, let's go. Oil and gas company, of course, 2 million shares outstanding and a 45 million market cap. This is when I wrote in the Discord like 7:20 a.m. or something like that, maybe 7:30. I was like, guys, this ticker is explosive. Because of these stats. 2 million shares outstanding. I mean, that's nothing. I think its float is much, much less. The float is pretty much always less. It can never be more, but it can be less. It's typically much less. So the thing about MARPS, it has these, one-day spikes, and then it's pretty much dead. And now it's on its, for the first time ever, 1, 2, 3 big green days in a row. And man, I am not a big fan of trading multi-day runners. I don't know why. You're just waiting for that one day where it comes out with an offering or some sketchy news or news pending. It gets halted for an hour and it's down 60, 70, 80% when it opens. You see it time and time again, and it's just like multi-day runners freak me out. I probably have to get over that bias a little bit because it probably keeps me away from some good profits, but that's just how it is right now, and it's unfortunate, and I'm just letting you guys know the situation. So yesterday I did not trade this ticker. It just wasn't super clean. We did get like a nice move around noon, but I'm never trading at noon, so you won't find me trading that. And then pre-market, look at this. So we had a big top here around $20, give or take. More like give a little bit. And then here we were able to break that, and then we ran 25%. This is when I was able to squeeze out those profits. And let's look at the 1 minute to see how I actually ended up doing this one. And yeah, look at this open. Like big spike up, massive spike down, gets halted. And these are like 16% candles. Huge move up, 25%, and then it's back down, getting halted. So this is why I didn't trade the market open. It was just crazy. I mean, there was better tickers to trade at the market open. I mean, look at, for example, CEI. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pretty much 7 candles in a row, perfect front side. Or ENSV that we talked about with the 80% move in 12 minutes. So, I mean, there was good moves at the market open. I didn't know what it was going to be, and I didn't feel like trading in, a dozen tickers to try to figure out and then lose money that I made pre-market. Okay, so let's go back to MARPS, MARPS. Weird ticker. Zoom in here a little bit more to the 1 minute, and this is when it broke that double top. So we're looking at right in, no wait, hold on, fake news. I was like, wait, that doesn't look right. We're talking about right here. This is what I said earlier, 720, around 720 to 740. This is where I was milking it. So right here at $20, we broke that former top, right? We talked about this top right here, and we had decent volume coming in, around 20, 30,000 in volume. Not bad based on this, the price on this ticker. And we had a fast rate of change. And these 3 minutes here went up 30%. We're talking about an average of 10% per candle. I bought into the breakout, took profits quickly. I rebought somewhere here looking for continuation or a double top or something like that. Didn't get it. Quickly closed out. I rebought here, and then it popped up. I sold right around here. Now, this was actually really smooth trading because I was only using hotkeys and I was a bit in a groove. I kind of had an idea that we were going to do a bit of a double top here. This was nice. Again, I'm using very small size. I think my biggest size on this one was actually, I had one trade where I was long like 300 shares, which is a total joke because that's not even like half of the size I really want to be using. So that's not even a third of the size I want to be using. So it's just crazy how small size I was using, but it allowed me to kind of like adjust to the hotter market because we haven't had a hot market now for basically 3 months in terms of day trading small caps, which is like, it's been one of the biggest lulls ever for like two plus years, the last 2+ years. That's why I'm using such small size. Pulled back, 1 minute pullback, classic move. I mean, the 5 minutes on the front side, and I sold here in this last pop. Now, if I just did the same thing, just with bigger size, obviously we could have been up 2, 3, 4, 5,000 on this ticker. Literally, if I just use that ideal size I want to be using. So I just want to put things in perspective. on the position size I was using, very, very small. Now, when this ticker, it was still on the front side here on the 5 minute, but lately I haven't been so successful and I haven't been so eager to trade when the price is below the 9 EMA, even if it's still above the 9 EMA on the 5 minute. So when it's below the 9 EMA on the 1 minute, things have just not been going so well for me. Today, it actually would have worked pretty well. The 1 minute and the 5 minute were pretty respectable. So like, you know, buying here into this bounce, because on the 5 EMA there's a really, really big support, that would have been really good. You could have range traded the heck out of MARPS. I mean, you could have made a ton of money here as long as you realized we're in a range now with low volume. But that's just not really the trading style that I want. So once I realized this ticker was ranging, it wasn't on the front side anymore, packed up shop and moved on. And you know, at this point, just opened up from the halt. I don't know. It's really hard for me to really want to trade this ticker. Who knows what's going to happen? It's just so extended. I mean, it could have, you know, find a base here and all of a sudden be at $60. You just never know. But it's not my favorite setup at this point, especially with the volume selling off here. It's scary for sure. And at this point, like right around here at like 740, that's when I noticed 9 popping up. So let's go to NINE. Well, actually, I already noticed 9. I was watching 9 the whole time, but I noticed a good setup popping up. And let's quickly start on the daily as well on this one. Most of these red lines you see, I just drew. No, not like I drew this morning, so today, because we're popping past every major resistance point. So I was like, oh man, we're at like $8. So where's the resistance zones? So I would be always mapping out new multi-day, multi-week support and resistance zones. That's why there's kind of so many on this chart, because it just kept on going. Classic, another oil and gas company, 33 million shares outstanding and 200 million market cap. I'm not even sure if there's a catalyst. Looks like it did come out with some good earnings, but I don't really care so much, especially for earnings catalysts. Those are usually pretty weak, but it just shows you the macro news is really what's in charge right now. So I wouldn't even be focused on the micro news, especially on these small caps. Yeah, and there goes MARPS selling off as well. So on the 5 minute, this one had a huge move here, 10% plus. Extended hours actually wasn't really able to hold that super well, gave out back quite a lot and came back to this 180 SMA pretty immediately. Now, just like with MARPS, this ticker eventually broke some resistance here around $6, and that's when I became interested in it again. So that's when this whole front side here, took shape. And let me just, put a channel around that. I think that might help put this in perspective a little bit. That's a really bad channel I just drew. Let's start it from here to roughly here and then move it down here so you guys can see that a little bit. This is when the front side started, when it broke that $6. And look at this big support here. That would have been a phenomenal trade. I know, I forgot who it was. Somebody in the Discord took this trade. I think it was an amazing trade, and I'll tell you why I didn't take it myself. And some of you guys probably already know. Maybe take a guess, and I'll tell you literally in a second here. So here's the 5 minute down here, the daily over here, and the 1 minute here, and this is really my trading screen. This is where the magic happens. So this ticker pops up, like we said, over the $6, has that pullback, and then continues its rally, and this is where I start trading it. Look at the volume. I mean, look at my amount of shares, 500 shares, very small position size. I mean, we're talking about like $3,000 that I'm trading on this ticker. So very, very small amount. For sure. And then here, look at the 5 minute, right around like 805. This is like that perfect pullback. We got the 5 minute really lining up at big former support. It's a little bit below $6. So big former support. Technically, this trend line, the start of a trend line is forming in this channel, which at the time I didn't see it, so that's fine. Or at the time you don't even really know it because there is no channel yet. What else I was going to say? Oh yeah, the 9 EMA is forming. So technically this is a amazing setup, and we got VWAP. So this is a huge, huge opportunity technically. But the thing is, on the 1 minute, this ticker is below the 90 EMA, below the 1 minute 90 EMA. And this is a really risky setup in that aspect. So once you start trading the backside here, this is like a little mini backside. It's a negative risk reward strategy. So you're always looking for like a 2-3% pop to the upside, but you're always risking that, 5-10% flush. So you do 100 of those trades, you're typically negative. Just really risky, and I don't do really well with that. That's why I did not trade here. It's tough because sometimes, like you see right now with 9, it would have worked spectacularly. But overall, it doesn't work so well for me, and I've been tripping over myself. I've been getting pinched on these kind of moves, because the second these support line things don't hold, I mean, you get these nasty moves, because this is officially on a little bit of a backside here. So it's been tough, or that setup has been really tough for me. I guess on a really hot bullish day like today, those setups do better. But if it's kind of like a wishy-washy day, probably not the time to be trading those. Okay, so let's go back here. We eventually broke to a new high. I end up getting on this ticker right here in this 1 minute pullback on this 5 minute breakout. That's literally one of my favorite setups ever. 5 minute breakout, 1 minute pullback on a front side. That's right here. I didn't hold it as long as I should, so shame on me. I also didn't size up like I really should. I should have at least done 1,000 shares here. So, you know, I think what I didn't do good today is I didn't size up as I noticed we are in these really nice front sides. So yeah, that's probably what I could have done a little bit better. Did a few smaller trades here because we were lacking continuation and volume was fading, so I wasn't holding very long. Eventually we get a nice breakout here, and this was a good 5 minute setup as well. 1 minute, okay. 5 minute, really nice. Did a little bit of trading here looking for continuation. That eventually we got a little bit of a pop-up, but it didn't hold up. And at this point, I was like, I think I got everything out of the market that I really wanted. I mean, I'm up like 20% right now based on my average position size. I should have, could have, would have sized up a little bit more, been more aggressive today in my sizing. But that's fine. And then I actually ended up starting to make a recap video somewhere in this area. And then I did a few more of these trades, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch the market before I, miss something or get mad at myself because I'm filming it when I should be trading. At this point, I'm exhausted and I'm done. I've been looking at the market for almost 3 hours, so I'm done with trading at this point. USWS does pop up as well. USWS. This was a really nice ticker, and I wish I actually traded it a little bit more. When was the last trade? Oh, yeah, this is the only trade I did on it at 15.13. 15.13. That is going to be 9.13. Yeah, that was right in this area. We had that last pullback, and I was looking for that potential break of $4, and I just traded it with ridiculous size, like 600 shares. Very, very small size again. Kind of to like get my beak wet a little bit, see like, okay, come on, I can't be a chicken here. Better to trade with small size than miss an opportunity, because that always gives me FOMO. I've talked about that subject in detail. But look at this front side. This is probably one of the best looking front sides I've seen in a long time. Well, we've been seeing more, so that's good. But I mean, this move starts around $2, runs all the way to $4. I mean, we're talking about like a 90% move. Just a perfect on the 5 minute, perfect front side. Look at that, just always above the 9 EMA. And on the 1 minute, every time just slightly breaking the 9 EMA. But once you realize it's actually holding, that's the time to get back in. So I should have been trading USWS, I think, today. I think this is the ticker I could have made most of my money on, easy. But sometimes, with this many tickers, I'm just happy to be green, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I want to trade this, and then this is moving, I want to trade that, and then something else is moving, and then you all of a sudden you have like 6+ tickers you traded, and you're red on the majority of them, and it's a stressful place to be. You switch over and you see CEI up here, and you're like, let me trade this one, and all of a sudden you get caught in a 7% flush, and you're like, what? So sometimes when there's a lot of tickers to be trading and a lot of good setups, like a day like today, it's actually surprising because somehow you end up red. It's happened to me so many times. So it's just because there's so much excitement, there's so many things to be doing, and then you're not really laser focused. And that's why I think today at the market open, and just in general, like once I was green and I had my few good moves, I was like, do I really want to spend the next 30, 45 minutes now chasing different tickers and most likely giving back profits? And the answer to that is obviously no. I've been down that road dozens, if not over 100 times. So yeah, I figure I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Take my, green day. It's not like a big green day, but like I said, percentage-wise, it is a really good one, and I think I need to celebrate that. And obviously, if I want to make more money, I need to size up bigger and not overtrade. It's that simple. So hopefully you guys found some value in this video. Don't forget to drop a like on the way out. I'll see you guys then first thing tomorrow morning. And if you're totally new to the channel, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you part of the community. Like always, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.